Explorer 1, NASA's farthest journeying rocket, continues with its astounding endeavor through space, faultlessly conveying critical data from the most profound region of the universe for right around 50 years. This marvelous space test has upset our cognizance of space. However, actually, the space contraption has been imparting upsetting data back to Earth, leaving the entire space industry in shock. Are these disturbing data the result of a specific separate or the activities of extraterrestrials? Go along with us as we uncover reality behind these staggering transmissions. Starting from the start of written history, analysts have been captivated by the mysteries that deception passed our great lines. This interest incited the memorable farewell of the Pilgrim 1 and Wayfarer 2 transports, among other superb space missions. These earth-shattering missions, which have been discussed for a seriously lengthy time span, begun with the farewell of Wayfarer 2 from NASA's Kennedy Space Center on August 21, 1977. 14 days sometime later, on September 5 of that very year, Voyager W stuck to this same pattern. These twin tests, each checking a critical 720 kilograms, similar to a small vehicle, were driven into space during a book arrangement of the external planets. All through their stunning odyssey, these fearless explorers investigated unique headings and paces, heading to a pivotal second on December 15, 1977, at the point when Voyager 1 beat its undefined twin because of assortments in their manner. Starting their forward, Traveler 1 has transformed into a critical resource, giving us with an abundance of data and unraveling space-related privileged insights. Before we plunge into Wayfarer's surprising new disclosures that dazed the entire space industry, we ought to explore the outstanding pictures discovered by the rocket during its urgent Jovian imaging mission in 1978. Adventurer 1 was situated about 265 million kilometers from Earth. From this vantage point, it conveyed a dazzling number of photographs back to Earth. In January 1979, it set out on a remarkable 100-hour take-a-stab at catching an entrancing time-sneak-past film displaying 10 turns of Jupiter. A cornucopia of 3,750 pictures allowed us to notice Jupiter's great dance in unmistakable detail. In the subsequent months, Wayfarer 1 meandered through the Jovian moon system, where it made a striking disclosure: the presence of a little ring encompassing Jupiter and besides 2 new moons, the What's and Me's. These were somewhat long out of the dark, further broadening how we could decipher Jupiter's intriguing area to ensure safe section and forestall a possible contact with Titans, one of Saturn's moons. Remedial moves were executed. Pioneer 1 continued with its great excursion around Saturn, uncovering 4 extra moons: Mimas, Enceladus, Tees, and Donan. With the culmination of the Saturn mission, analysts decided to close the Pioneer planetary mission, pushing both Pioneer 1 and Adventurer 2 past the limits of our planetary gathering, jumping through space at an astonishing rate of 325 million kilometers every year. In January 1990, another part started: the Pilgrim interstellar mission. During this stage, Voyager 1 conveyed probably the most famous photographs in history, immortalizing the Sun and the majority of the planets. One individual who played a fundamental job in widening the missions past their underlying targets was the unmistakable stargazer, Dr. Vachel Sands. As a part of the Pilgrim mission's imaging group, Dr. Sands enthusiastically pushed the thought of catching one last arrangement of pictures, a farewell gift to humankind. Against all chances, his unfaltering determination bore natural product on February 14, 1990, when Wayfarer 1, situated 6 billion kilometers from the Sun, left on a visual outing. This is notable as the To Get What planetary gathering family picture. These staggering pictures, amounting to 60 in number, added to the van's momentous arrangement of 670 photographs during its experience with Neptune. Explorer 2 accomplished an exceptional achievement. It recorded breeze speeds surpassing 13,100 meters per second, making it the quickest wind of all time documented inside our neighborhood planet bunch. As the rocket meandered inside 280 miles of Neptune's purplish-blue methane-rich environment, it gave us astounding experiences into this distant heavenly body. Famously, Neptune's biggest moon, Triton, was uncovered as quite possibly of the coldest inhabitants inside our planetary gathering, with surface temperatures plunging to a bone-chilling 3.91 degrees Fahrenheit. Triton's curious elements, such as its nitrogen gas-hurling ice volcanoes that pushed cold particles 5 miles into its amorphous climate, likewise enchanted our minds. These extraordinary revelations extended our appreciation of the huge assortment and intricacy of heavenly items living in the farthest reaches of our nearby planet bunch. Don't go anywhere. The Wayfarer 1 rocket has as of late made quite possibly of its most alarming disclosures over undeniably. We should figure out what it has accomplished in the most recent 45 years. The achievements of the Pilgrim twin tests have been out and out uncommon. More than 40 years prior, their underlying perceptions of Jupiter and Saturn's moons left researchers in wonder and broke past presumptions about these remote universes. These moons, once believed to be torpid and intensely scarred like our own moon, ended up being spilling over with topographical action. Pilgrim 2, in particular, accomplished several extraordinary accomplishments during its excursion. It made history in 1986 by turning into the first transport to fly by Uranus. Only 3 years later, it accomplished another striking accomplishment with a flyby of Neptune. Up to the present day, it remains the sole rocket to have wandered on such a way. As the Traveler rocket proceeded with its excursion, NASA completed different measures to broaden its operational life expectancy over the ongoing years. Superfluous parts and radiators have been deactivated to save energy, ensuring that these brave pilgrims can proceed with their mission well into the following 10 years. Their estimated mission end date is set for 2030. For the researchers and specialists who have been associated with this surprising task from the absolute starting point, the zenith of the Voyager missions is both a snapshot of pride and a hint of despairing. Their resolute devotion and enthusiastic endeavors have far outperformed their underlying assumptions. The abundance of information returned by the travelers has given significant bits of knowledge, energized various logical revelations, and touched off the creative mind of innumerable analysts and space lovers. Pioneer 1 and Wayfarer 2 were no standard space tests. They were fastidiously planned as steady stages with a rotation rate north of 15 times slower than the hour hand of a clock. This plan choice limited visual obscuring as the space apparatus caught pictures and information while venturing through the boundlessness of room. Indeed, even before their experiences with the external planets, their great imaging capacities started to dumbfound researchers and the public the same. The shuttle started communicating pictures of Jupiter prior to arriving at the gas monster. These early pictures, showing the twirling mists and the notable incredible red spot, pleased crowds at NASA's Fly Drive research facility. However, it was the revelation of dynamic volcanoes on Jupiter's moon Io that genuinely took the spotlight. Io, fairly bigger than Earth's moon, ended up being the most volcanically active body in our solar framework. The rocket's instruments distinguished particular signs from Io, which were affirmed by the unmistakable pictures they caught. Transcending volcanic crest and a surface scarred by volcanic material ejections were uncovered. One of Io's most conspicuous volcanoes has emitted with a power multiple times more prominent than Mount Everest, covering a region practically the size of France. While the rocket's cameras were at last closed down to preserve power and memory before their excursion into interstellar space, it is significant that the photos they caught didn't incorporate Mercury and Mars for different reasons. Beside the Pilgrim 1 and Pilgrim 2 interstellar tests, NASA has additionally worked other conspicuous shuttle like Explorer 10, Explorer 11, and New Skylines. Adventurer 1 cruised by Explorer 10 on February 17, 1998, denoting the event when Explorer 10 turned into the most far-off rocket. Pilgrim 1 proceeded with its lone venture for 14 extra years before at last entering the interstellar climate on August 25, 2012. Despite the fact that there could have been no other space tests in sight to observe, NASA didn't openly report this surprising accomplishment until 2013. What are the methodologies utilized that guaranteed the progress of the Traveler missions? In the mind-blowing Traveler missions, one method stood apart as particularly splendid: gravity help moves. These moves played an essential job in moving Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 on their nervy mission to investigate the external scopes of our nearby planet group. To come to these far-off objections and assemble important information, the rocket required more than just their own impetus frameworks. They required a lift, and gravity helps gave simply that. Envision the two bold rocket Explorer 1 and Explorer 2 leaving on their excellent visit through the nearby planet bunch. Rather than depending entirely on their engines, they participated in a divine dance with a portion of our neighborhood planet gatherings' heavyweight planets. This fantastic dance permitted them to use the immense gravitational draw of these Goliaths to slingshot themselves on their way. In turn, they could save valuable fuel and gain the speed needed to visit different objections. We should dig into the basics of gravity help, moreover known as a gravitational slingshot. The thought behind this move is to move a portion of a planet's energy to the rocket as it passes by. Picture Wayfarer 1 moving toward Jupiter, a gigantic gas monster with a gravitational pull to coordinate with fastidious accuracy. Wayfarer 1 came around Jupiter at an amazing point in speed. Jupiter's gravity pulled at the rocket, speeding up it to a higher speed and giving it a huge lift. Performing a gravity help move requires outstanding accuracy. If Wayfarer 1 had moved toward Jupiter at some unacceptable point or speed, the slingshot could have come about in a terrible deviation from its planned course. The level of precision required is overwhelming. However, the splendid personalities behind these missions effectively executed these gravity helps on various occasions, driving the Pioneer shuttle on an astounding excursion through the nearby planet bunch. Explorer 2, for instance, utilized gravity helps from Jupiter and Saturn to arrive at Uranus and Neptune. These divine moves were of crucial significance in making the excellent visit conceivable. The Wayfarer missions owe a lot of their prosperity to these gravity help moves. Voyager 1 proceeded to arrive at interstellar space, with Voyager 2 rapidly following after. Accordingly, all because of the accuracy of these moves. The idea behind gravity help is basic, yet the execution is incredibly mind-boggling. Pioneer 2000 visit required a level of accuracy where missing any of these slingshots might have come about in a bombed mission. Anyway, the devoted people behind these missions were not entirely set in stone and unflinching in their quest for information. While gravity helps assumed a huge part in investigating the universe, another critical part guaranteed the progress of the Pioneer missions. The Deep Space Network, DSN, frequently thought to be the interstellar telephone line that kept us associated with our bold Wayfarer tests as they wandered, however, into the incredible obscure. The DSN, less ostentatious than a shuttle, is similarly basic. The Profound Space Network is an organization of huge radio-receiving wires, decisively situated around the world, remembering areas for California, Spain, and Australia. These huge dishes, going from 26 to an incredible 70 m in distance across, go about as immense enhancers, working with correspondence with shuttle going past our planet. The DSN catches signals and sends orders, empowering a two-way discussion among Earth and the farthest human-made objects in the universe. One exceptional part of the DSN is its indefatigable activity. It works energetically day in and day out, tuning in for those distant signals. It resembles an unblinking eye on the universe, guaranteeing that we stay associated with our space tests even when they are billions of miles away. The Adventure mission remains as a demonstration of the force of joint effort and development. While the space apparatus set out on their amazing excursions, the DSN guaranteed they were never genuinely alone. It overcame any issues between our planet and the unexplored world, enabling us to investigate the external planets and adventure into interstellar space. Did Wayfarer 1 experience a breakdown, or were outsiders involved all through its remarkable 45-year venture in space? The Explorer 1 space test has remained solid, tirelessly playing out its mission. However, lately specialists have seen a few irregularities in execution that have started interest. Wayfarer 1 is at present conveying exceptional messages back to Earth, making the feeling that it is questionable about its precise area organizes. What makes this revelation significantly more baffling is that the underlying information got from Pilgrim 1 were unfathomable and incredible, leaving NASA researchers baffled. Upon assessment, researchers viewed that the offender behind the mutilated information was the Demeanor, Explanation, and Control Framework, AACS. This implanted hardware is liable for estimating, revealing, and changing the rocket situation in space. It has a receiving wire coordinated towards Earth, empowering it to send information back home. The glitch happened when the programming suddenly different to sending its telemeter information through a flawed inserted PC that had been torpid for quite a long time. NASA specialists had the option to address this irregularity by educating the rocket to continue sending information through the right PC. Thus, uncorrupted information from Wayfarer 1 is by arriving at NASA. However, the inquiry that remaining parts unanswered is why the shuttle changed to the breaking down PC in any case. While NASA researchers have advanced a theory that a broken order from another locally available PC could have set off the bizarre conduct, they still can't seem to pinpoint the specific reason. To get to the lower part of this secret, Susan Dodd, the project supervisor for the interstellar mission, expressed that they mean to lead a thorough memory readout of the shuttle and completely examine its tasks. This top-to-bottom assessment means to inspect the issue that prompted the telemetry issue. It is vital that, notwithstanding the sporadic information transmission, the actual shuttle appears to be working appropriately, and none of the rocket's issue assurance frameworks have been set off. As such, Wayfarer 1 has not been constrained into protected mode, and its sign remaining parts of solidarity. A potential variable adding to this irregularity is the unforgiving climate of space. Astronomical radiation and outrageous temperature variances can present difficulties to the activity of a shuttle like Wayfarer 1. Astronomical radiation comprises high-energy particles originating from distant stars and systems. These particles can penetrate space diagram structures, causing electrical disturbances, information signal bends, memory mistakes, and information defilement. Moreover, temperatures in the boundlessness of room can drop to bone-chilling levels or take off to scorching highs, putting monstrous pressure on the space apparatus parts. Regardless of the thorough testing and careful designing that went into planning Pilgrim 1 to endure these circumstances, the unforgiving real factors of room can still cause significant damage over the long haul. Another charming plausibility that has caught the creative mind of some is the possibility of extraterrestrial impedance. Could Wayfarer 1's bizarre way of behaving be ascribed to the activities of keen creatures from past our planetary group? While this thought might appear to be more similar to sci-fi than the truth, it's not completely outside the realm of probability. The immensity of room and the endless exoplanets it harbors leave space for theory about civilizations definitely further developed than our own. However, before leaping to finishes of outsider intercession, researchers are steadily inspecting each part of Voyager 1's sporadic conduct. Whether the shuttle's peculiarity is because of a specialized error, enormous radiation, or something different altogether is not yet clear. But one thing is certain. The secrets of room proceed to interest and motivate us, driving our persevering mission for information and comprehension of the universe.